This video is created for entertainment and storytelling purposes only. The stories featured may be fictional, inspired, adapted, or dramatized. Any resemblance to real persons or events is purely coincidental. This channel does not promote harassment, violence, or illegal activities. Viewer discretion is advised.
I walked into my own wedding with a black eye hidden under makeup, hoping just for a second that my fiancée would finally stand up for me. Instead, she smiled in front of everyone and said, "Your mother hit you because someone had to teach you obedience." The entire church went silent. Over 100 guests sat frozen inside a venue that cost nearly $300,000, white roses everywhere, chandeliers glowing, cameras ready to capture what was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. But it wasn't. My mother, Evelyn Harper, lowered her eyes like she was ashamed. But I knew that look. She was smiling. My left eye was swollen under layers of concealer. My best friend, Sarah, had spent nearly half an hour applying in the hotel room before the ceremony. Her hands were shaking the entire time. She didn't yell at me. She didn't panic. She just looked at me in the mirror and whispered, "Man, we can still walk away. Right now." I tightened my grip on the bouquet. Not yet. What Sarah didn't know was that inside that bouquet, hidden between white lilies, was an envelope. And inside that envelope was everything. Photos. Screenshots. A letter from my therapist. Proof. My fiancée, Olivia Bennett, had been in my life for 4 years. Smart. Charming. Well respected. The kind of woman people admired instantly. The kind of woman who volunteers at charity galas, shakes hands with influential families, and makes everyone say, "Man, he's lucky to have her." My mother loved her. That was the problem. Evelyn Harper wasn't just a mother. She was powerful in her world: high society events, business connections, people who never questioned her authority. After my dad died when I was 12, she turned our home into something else entirely. Not a home. A system. A hierarchy. I learned how to apologize without knowing what I did wrong. How to stay quiet when I was hurt. How to smile when I was being broken down. The only person who ever made me feel safe was my dad's sister, my Aunt Melissa. So when my mother tried to push her to the back rows of my wedding just so her friends could sit closer, I finally said no. For the first time in my life, I didn't lower my voice. Aunt Melissa sits in the front row. My mother smiled like I was a child misbehaving. "Don't start this, Daniel. Important guests need visibility. She's family. She's your father's side," she said coldly, like that erased her importance. That night, I went to her house to talk. It didn't feel like a home. It felt like a performance: perfect lighting, expensive tea, 3,000 floral arrangements, everything arranged to look calm and controlled. At 9:20 p.m., I stood up. "I'm done discussing this." She grabbed my wrist. I pulled away. And then her hand hit my face. Her diamond ring cut my cheekbone. For a second, everything froze. Then she said calmly, "Look what you made me do." I left with one hand on the steering wheel and the other pressed against my face. Sarah showed up 20 minutes later. She didn't hesitate. She took photos. Saved everything. Sent copies to my email and to Aunt Melissa. Then I called Olivia. I told her everything. My voice broke. My mother hit me. I expected shock, anger, support. Instead, she sighed. "Daniel, don't make this bigger than it is. The wedding is in 2 days. We've already spent almost $200,000. Let's not ruin everything over emotions." Something inside me went quiet after that. Not anger. Not sadness. Just clarity. The next morning, I printed everything. My mother's messages: this happens when you don't listen. Fix your face before the wedding. Don't embarrass me. My therapist, Dr. Rachel Moore, wrote a formal letter confirming emotional abuse and the visible injury she saw during my session. I placed everything inside the envelope and walked to the altar. The church in Boston was packed. 200,000 weddings set up. Hundreds of guests. Cameras everywhere. My mother sat in the front row wearing a $10,000 designer dress, acting like nothing had happened. Olivia stood at the altar smiling like everything was perfect. Until I reached her. And then she said it. Your mother hit you because someone had to teach you obedience. A few people laughed awkwardly. Because wealthy families laugh when they don't know how to react. I stared at her. What did you just say? She leaned slightly closer. But the microphone caught every word. Your mom says you're difficult sometimes. Honestly, she's right. The room went dead silent. My mother lowered her head, pretending shame. But I saw it. That satisfaction. That approval. That control. And something in me finally stopped breaking. Because I realized something I should have understood a long time ago: I wasn't loved in that room. I was controlled in it. I reached into the bouquet and pulled out the envelope. I have proof, I said. Photos. Messages. Therapist letter. Gasps filled the church. My mother stood immediately. This is a misunderstanding. No, I said. It's evidence. Olivia grabbed my arm. Not enough to hurt. Just enough to control. Don't do this here, she whispered. I pulled away. You wanted it private. So nobody would question you. My Aunt Melissa stood up from the third row. That's enough, Evelyn. The whole room shifted. My mother's expression changed instantly. Control turning into panic. Olivia leaned toward me. If you do this, there's no going back. I looked at her. That's the point. I removed the engagement ring worth $12,000 and placed it in her hand. I'm not marrying you. Whispers exploded through the church. My mother laughed softly. You're throwing away a 200,000 wedding over a bruise. No, I said. I'm choosing myself. Olivia's voice cracked. After everything I did for you. What did you do? I asked. Silence. You justified it? The priest, Father Michael, opened the envelope. He read it all. His expression hardened. This should be reported. My mother stepped forward. You have no right. She gave it to me, he said firmly. And then everything collapsed. My mother turned to Olivia and said loud enough for everyone, fix this. That's why I wanted you in this family. The room went silent. Because now everyone understood. Olivia wasn't just standing there. She was part of it. My Aunt Melissa walked over and held my hand. We're leaving, she said softly. But before I could move, Father Michael lifted one page, the therapist's letter. Silence filled the church again. And then Olivia slowly reached for the microphone. Her hands were shaking. And she said, fine, then tell them why his father really died. And everything changed.